Welcome to Free Thoughts from Freedom Chiropractic and Rehab, your space for health, healing, and insights. I'm Dr. Chip Bleem, and this is episode number 51. If you've enjoyed these videos and found them to be helpful, please hit that subscribe button and join us for more free thoughts every week. Each week, we'll share simple ideas to help you move better, feel better, and live with more freedom. Thank you very much for being a part of our community. This week's quote of the week comes from ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. And he said, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present. Now listen, I love this quote because it quietly teaches us the concept of optimism without ever actually using the word. So often our stress doesn't come from what's happening right now. It comes from replaying what already happened or worrying about what might happen. But when we live in those places for too long, optimism disappears. Lao Tzu reminds us that peace and optimism live in the present moment. Think about it. Right now, in this moment, you're probably okay. Your breath is steady, you're here, but our minds love to travel, back to regret or forward to fear. It's not pretending the future will be perfect. It's trusting that you can handle whatever comes when it does. And the trust only exists when you're grounded in the present. From a health perspective, this matters deeply. When we're stuck in the past or the future, our nervous system stays on high alert all the time. When we come back to the present, the body relaxes and the healing can begin. So this week, if you notice anxiety creeping in or old thoughts pulling you backward, pause, take a breath, come back to now. Because sometimes the most optimistic thing you can do is simply be where your feet are in the moment. Okay, let's talk about health. Today I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention when we think about our health, and that's optimism. Now, I'm not talking about fake positivity or just pretending that everything is great when it's not. I'm talking about learned optimism, the skill of training your mind to respond differently to those challenges, to stress or setbacks. Because here's the truth. Life is going to throw things at us. Pain, stress, unexpected obstacles, bad days, those things are unavoidable. But how we interpret those moments makes a massive difference, not just mentally, but physically too. Research shows that chronic pessimism can increase our stress hormones in the body, slow down healing and weaken the immune system, and even amplify pain. On the flip side, people who practice optimism tend to recover faster, experience less anxiety, and handle stress more effectively. So what does learned optimism actually look like? It starts with how you talk to yourself, especially when something goes wrong. Instead of immediately thinking, this always happens to me, or I'll never get better, learned optimism asks you to pause and reframe the story. Try asking yourself something simple like, is this permanent or is it temporary? Or is this affecting everything in my life or just this one little situation? What's one thing I can do right now to move forward? These are simple questions we can ask ourselves. But this shift doesn't ignore the problem, it gives you power over it. We're not ignoring it. And from a health standpoint, that matters. Your nervous system responds to your thoughts. When your mind stays in a constant threat or hopeless state, your body stays tense, inflamed, and stuck in survival mode. Optimism helps signal safety, and that's when the real healing can begin. So here's your takeaway this week. Pay attention to the narrative you're running in your head. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control and train how you yourself respond with perspective, resilience, and hope. Because optimism isn't something you're born with, it's something you practice. And just like your body, your mindset gets stronger the more you train it. So focus on it and dial it in. Now it's time for some good news. And this one is definitely a story that will warm your heart. This week, a 4-year-old boy and his family dog made headlines for one of the sweetest moments you'll see anywhere. Little Jack was upset when his newly adopted rescue dog, Alfie, kept escaping from the yard. Instead of getting frustrated, Jack sat down with Alfie and made him a deal, complete with a paw shake, asking him to stay safe and not run away anymore. The moment was caught on video and quickly went viral. but not because it was dramatic or outrageous, but because it was pure heart. Imagine a little boy showing empathy and patience and treating his dog like a true partner, teaching responsibility in the most loving way possible. The family had rescued Alfie from a shelter, and after that first scare, they took extra steps to keep him safe with a leash and better fencing, and now Alfie is happy and secure, and Jack keeps up their ongoing paw talk, even if sometimes the conversation turns to Lego pieces more than the yard rules. What I love about the story is how it reminds us about empathy, compassion, and connection, and how they're not big, complicated ideas. They're the small moments. A handshake with a paw, a smile, a bit of patience. Those are the things that make headlines because they reflect the best of humanity. So today, let's let this little boy and his dog be your snapshot of joy, a reminder that kindness still spreads, one paw shake at a time. And that's your good news for the week.